start with just a spoiler-free review of both books in case you haven't read them and are interested in them. So we'll start with Hyde. H-I-D-E. Hyde by Kirsten White. This is a pretty short book. It is only 251 pages. 251 pages. Oh, actually, even shorter than that because that was an excerpt. It's 236. There you go. 236 pages. This is a thriller. I would say it is rated R or at least PG-13. It's a little bit of it's got some touchy topics in there. It's quite the thriller. So basically, a quick summary for you to decide if you want to read it is about our main character named Mac, who has had a traumatic past experience, and she is now competing in a reality competition that is hide and seek, where you have to hide for 7 days in this abandoned amusement park, and the last person gets $50,000. And then things take kind of a crazy turn. So I won't give any more of a synopsis than that because I don't want to spoil you. I would rate this book an 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10, 8 out of 10. I liked it better than the next book that we will talk about. By how I rate books, I always just rate them individually, not based off of how I rank another book. So this one I also rank an 8 out of 10, but I like this one better, but they're both 8s, if that makes sense. So yeah, 8 out of 10. I thought it was super interesting. A very unique story. I like the twist. I like the characters. I typically like longer books or series. So for me to be able to like the characters and kind of have stakes with caring about them in 230 pages, I think is pretty impressive. The writing is really interesting, very good. It has some very just cool ways to say things. Like for example, they're in the first opening they talk about the amusement park and it says it was a park designed to swallow. And I just feel like that's a very visual and interesting way to talk about it. But yeah. So I would recommend this if you are looking for a kind of dark thriller, a little bit of a scary, it's not scary, but kind of scary themes. Yeah, so very good. Now, the next book, Terms and Conditions by Lauren Asher, is completely opposite vibe. This is a rom-com romance book. It is quite a bit longer than that one. It is 466 pages. mean man. So he obviously can't do that normally. And within the first chapter, so this is not a spoiler, in the first chapter, Iris volunteers to be his wife. So they sign like a marriage contract just for his inheritance. But then, you know how it goes, fake marriage. Ooh, maybe there's a little romance brewing. But I really liked this book. It was like exactly what I wanted from it. So I also give it an 8 out of 10, an 8 out of 10, an 8 out of 10, and would recommend it if you're interested in, you know, a fun rom-com like that. It is also spicy, 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 spicy. And I would say spice-wise is pretty good. It's not overly spicy, but there's like a little bit of it, which I like. So, yeah. Those are my non-spoiler reviews for you. And now, if you have read the books, I hope you have one of them or both or whatever. But now I'm going to give you my full thoughts. The spoilers are ahead from now. We will go back to Hyde. Go back to Hyde. So, like I said, I really, really liked it. I think it's fun how in each chapter they'll have different paragraphs going from each person's perspective. I think that's really cool. I really, really liked the first half of it a lot. Like trying to figure out why they're in the amusement park and knowing that something weird was going on. Like when they were at the spa and they were getting massaged and it was like the masseuse was crying and she was like, oh, I wish I could do more for them with, you know, the sacrifice they're making for us, you know, and starting off with just very, like something is up. So I really liked that, and I liked how you didn't see the monster until like halfway through the book, or more than that. I liked that it would go to the perspective of the person who's about to get found, and then it would just cut to somebody else's perspective. Like, I just thought that was, it left a lot up to the imagination and left you in suspense. So I really liked it. I liked Mac and Ava a lot. I think it's cool how they kind of go into the trauma that they have dealt with, but without being like Colleen Hoover and like making it like exploiting the trauma just for an interesting plot point, you know? Like I feel like it was all kind of subdued and not extremely graphic like it was, especially with Mac and her dad. It did get graphic, but it wasn't overly so, and it didn't feel like we were going into the detail just to have this like scary trauma part, you know what I mean? It felt very important to her story and her as a character. Same with everybody else. But the reason why I gave it an 8 out of 10 rather than a 10 is because I feel like the reveal happens too, like in the middle. Like, let me find where you first, like, where is it? Just flipping through. Oh yeah. So, what's his name? Ian, I think. When Ian finds the journal and he reads it, we are at like page 100. So we're only this far through the book, like 1/3 of the way through the book, and he finds the journal. That kind of explains borderline everything that happens. And I also read this with my friend. We do our own little like book club because she doesn't live in my state. So we called like halfway through to talk about it, and when we talked about it, I went back to the first part about the park where it says says, and for 1 week every 7 years, it was free. And it says, like, during a free week, a prominent businessman hadn't been invited, but he was considering investing since a cousin of a cousin owned the park. And then his little girl went missing. So when I was halfway through the book and I was on the phone call, I went back and read that first part because I was like, we were just talking about it. And then I realized that they, open it once a week or for 1 week every 7 years for free so that the monster can feed and do it, without having to find people to put into the park. So I realized that like halfway through the book, or less than halfway, and then it felt like the rest of the book I just assumed, either all 14 of them are going to die. Like either that's gonna happen, or they're gonna somehow trick the game maker people, the family, and be able to get away, or they're gonna like reverse the ritual and be able to get away. So halfway through the book, I knew one of 3 endings, And so I was like, oh, I kind of have an idea of how it's going to end, but I'm hoping that there's another twist. And there wasn't. It was just like when they went into Linda's house and they found that journal, that just kind of explained why they decided on the park and, how they found the 14 people every year. I felt like we had already kind of known that, like they already revealed that. So reading the journal again it was like, okay, yeah, we already know. So I don't know. I liked the twist that Ava, because I thought it was an invisible monster. So I liked the twist that Ava couldn't see it, so we thought it was invisible. But it turns out she was just not one of the original families. So that's why she couldn't see him. And also, they did trick me into thinking that Ava died with beautiful Ava. So I was very shocked when Ava showed up. That did shock me. But yeah, I just felt like they gave us too much information too quick for the amount of book that was left. Like, I don't want to know everything and understand all of the lore halfway through. So that's the only reason why I gave it an 8 rather than a 10. But yeah, I really liked it. So let me know what you guys think. If you liked it, what you would have done differently, any parts you didn't like, your favorite character, your favorite parts, and what you would rate it, and would you recommend it to a friend. But that was Hyde, that was Hyde, that was Hyde. So that was Hyde, and in case the lighting looks a little different, I took a food break mid book review. But anyway, the second book this month was Terms and Conditions. And like I said, I really liked it. I personally feel like a romance book can only ever get like an 8 out of 10, like max from me. Just because, they typically tend to be kind of, they're just like rom-com-esque, so they're not super deep or like overly unique or overly, do you know what I mean? You get it. Anyway, so with that being said, this did get an 8 out of 10. I would say this is like almost my perfect romance book. I love a mean guy. And I feel like in a lot of stories, it always starts out with like, big bad guy, he's so mean, but he actually has a heart of gold. And like, as you get to know him, he's like actually really nice. Like, he's doing all these bad things, but he's doing it to protect all these innocent people, so it doesn't really count. And I hate that. I just feel like keep the bad guy a bad guy. That's like, I feel like none of them ever do that. But this, I love the like, he hates the world except for her. That's like my favorite thing. And I feel like they do a pretty good job of that in this book. Like, he does get nicer at the end, but he's still like a flawed human being who is like at his core kind of a gloomy, brooding type guy. But obviously at the end, like when they have kids and stuff, he like is super sweet and all of that. But I like that throughout the book, it's not just like, oh, he actually has a heart of gold, and all of a sudden he's a totally different character who's super sweet and amazing, and never been a bad guy in his life. You know what I mean? But yeah, I also really like that we get like our first spicy scene like halfway through the book. I hate when they put them like right at the beginning. It's like I don't even know these characters yet, so it just feels kind of crazy. But oh, it's so good. I just really liked it a lot. I really liked it. It is like fully my type of romance book. And yeah, I feel like there's not as many things to discuss with this one as there are with Hyde, but oh my god, that is one thing. I will say I hated the they say a foreign word to each other thing. It like made me cringe every time I see it. And like, I don't know. I just hated it. Like, it's a cute idea, but the fact that they would be like mid conversation or mid whatever, and then he would just say a random foreign word. It's so, I don't know, it's just so unserious. It's so crazy to me. But I thought they had really good banter the whole time. And I like that it goes from his perspective and her perspective. I like that they're both in there. But yeah, I did really like it. And he says some crazy stuff in these spicy scenes that are good. But anywho, oh yeah, I don't know. I did like it. I feel like I don't have that many big thoughts on it, honestly. It was just like a good classic rom-com, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to think of like what would be. I did feel like she let him off the hook way too easily for how he exploded at her at Dreamland. Also, I do hate Dreamland. I hate that it's called Dreamland Billionaires. Like, what a crazy series title. Dreamland Billionaires is, again, it just feels a little cringy. But, yeah, it's like weird to me that it's like just Disney, but Dreamland. But it's so clearly just Disney's. I don't know. I think, yeah, interesting. But, yeah. Yeah, I did feel like when he exploded at her at the park, it was crazy. Like, dude went nuts. And she just forgave him really quick. But obviously, I'm sure, they worked on it off screen. And then I'm glad they gave us the, like, 1 year later and 5 years later and stuff. It's very cute. And I liked Cal. But yeah. So overall, I just really enjoyed it. If you're looking for your classic gloomy boy, sunshine girl, rom-com, then this is the one. This is the one for you. Yeah. So I am going to start looking for my next books not next month. Well, yeah, I guess next month. This is still March. So for April. So if you have any book suggestions, please leave them below. I was originally thinking of doing 1984 because I've actually never read that book, and I'm trying to read like 4 nonfictions this year, and I know that's a fiction, but it's like a little out of my comfort zone. I'm calling like the classics are going to count as half a point of nonfiction. So like Agatha Christie I read earlier, half a point. I also read The Great Gatsby, gave myself half a point for this, so I would give myself half a point for 1984. So I might read that. And then I was also thinking about possibly reading When the Moon Hatched, which is like a fantasy book, but it's quite big. It's like 700 pages. And it has like mostly good reviews, but then some people are like, this is the worst book I've ever read. So I'm not fully sold on reading either of those, but those are just my current thoughts. So if you have any suggestions, leave them in the comments. Let me know. Again, let me know all of your thoughts. Did you like this book? Did you not like it? Did you like Hyde? Did you read them? You know, just overall, let me know the vibe, the vibe, the vibe. Also, side note is, I just got a bunch of clothes and I got like this little bow, and I got this skirt. That I'm very excited about. And I was thinking of maybe doing a haul or like a try on haul or something like that. So also let me know if that would interest you. But yeah, anyway, I am so excited about our book club, and I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to the next one, to April. So I'll have a video coming out soon, reading the first chapter of 2 books for April that are going to be our ASMR Apple book club of the month. So keep an eye out for that. I hope you found this video to be relaxing. I hope it made you sleepy. I hope you have sweet